So guys, before we get started, don't forget we do have that amazing discount code thanks to Tier 0 Games going on right now. And all you have to do is put in ZW Games 5 to get 5% discount on your total order at tier0games.com. The links will be in the description below.
What's up YouTube, this is Joe from Z4 Games and I'm bringing to you guys an at Ignister deck update video. I know this is fairly recent since I've done the deck update, depending on when this is getting uploaded. But I just took this deck to the recent Brotherhood Regionals. I didn't do too well, but the deck was incomplete. I only had 2 islands in the deck, so I had to make do with something else. And it was my first time playing this deck at a big event, so or any event to be fact. I did my best. The deck actually performed very well, even with just 2 islands. The deck has just been improved since then. Using that event as a lessons for the deck and just trying to find a build that works, that suits the deck's playstyle, the turns it wants to go, and everything like that. So again, using that regionals as a lesson, just want to fine tune. I want to make this deck as good to me as DDDs is. Like, I can just perform very well with DDDs just in general, and so I want to make this deck mine as well, like quote unquote. Just because I love the playstyle. It is literally just DD but goes second, whereas DD goes first. And I really love the deck. The deck's really fun to play. I had a lot of fun playing it, and I want to share with you guys the update that I've done. So, starting off with the obvious is free Picari. You gotta have free Picari, such as all your eye cards. Free Achichi. I managed to get the last copies for the deck. So you got free Achichi, searches all of your monsters. Free Doyon, recurs at Ignister from grave to hand. And then we got free Buru, which is the tuner, but also the Armageddon Knight. The deck sends any at Ignister from deck to grave. And for last of the Ignisters, I'm playing only 2 Doshin and 1 Hyari. I feel like you only need 1 Hyari if you're not playing the ritual cards themselves, just because Hyari has less use without those cards in the deck. It's just literally an additional name that can summon itself either by its own effect, as long as you control it at Ignister, or from the field spell, being that it is a different attribute that you haven't probably used that time. The other one I find more useful in the deck, which I'm playing 2 copies of it, just because you do play the fusion spell, just because the fusion is very good. And the fusion spell being like a pseudo super poly for the deck that is searchable. So I'm playing 2 Doshi. And to run up the monsters, I am playing 3 Balancer Lord. I was maining at Droll and Lockbirds at the event, but I find that you're not guaranteed. Yes, Spiral is like the most dominant deck at the moment, is the most powerful deck at the moment, but the format is so diverse. I've been to 2 regionals as of yet, and lately, and I have only faced 1 Spiral within those regionals. That is about 16 rounds I've faced in like the past month, and only faced 1 Spiral. You're not guaranteed to face Spiral. This is a very diverse format, probably like one of the most diverse formats we've had in a very long time, which, don't get me wrong, is fantastic. But don't main to face Spiral unless you're going into like a Euros event, like a huge event, and even then I'd probably like maybe main to go against Spiral. Drawn Lockbird is a very powerful card, but it isn't like Ash Blossom. It doesn't go off against every deck. It doesn't go off against multiple decks. It is literally dedicated to pretty much just Spiral, and maybe this deck, because this deck searches a lot. So I'm not meaning the Drawn Lockbirds, but I'm like She Balancer was the last monsters in my deck, because Balancer Law just gives you an additional normal summon, and sometimes you just need that additional normal summon, and having the banish effect as well combos very well with Cyrus with it. So, but yeah, that's it for the monsters and my reasonings for not maining the Drolls anymore. Moving on to the spells. Yes, guys, I am actually now playing 3 Island. I think No offense, but I think a lot of people misunderstood what I meant by only having the one in my previous profile. If you're on a budget, you can play with just one island. Is it optimal to play just one island? No. But you can get away with just playing one island if you're on a budget. That's what I was trying to get at. I think a lot of people misunderstood what I meant to say. Maybe I missaid it, but that's my meaning for my previous profile. If you're on a budget, if you can't afford free items, because they are stupidly expensive at the moment for what they are, you can get away with just playing one of it if you play it like an Orcus deck. It has the recurring ability. You can play full Spirit Goods to replace the other islands, which is what I did at the regionals. I played full Spirit Goods for my third island. You can play around with just one island if you're on a budget. So I emphasize that, and I do apologize if people did not understand what I meant by it in my previous profile. But I got my other copies. I'm very happy for that. Shout out to one of my friends from my local club who has given me his island on a sort of an IOU loan. so long as I find stuff that he get stuff that he wants, this island's mine. So big shout outs to him. Thank you very much, Chris. Yes, so got the 3 copies of Island. It's very, very good. It can be bricky, but that will be mitigated once the next set comes out, as we get a spell that lets you put an island back to draw 3, which is absolutely ridiculous. So can't wait for that card to kind of re-boost up the consistency. But at the moment, you've got to play 3 island if you can afford it. Just because it is very important to your combos. And if you open up with the island, great, your Picard is going to search your monster board instead. Like, it's absolutely fantastic. So, got to play the 3 island, and then the 1 terraforming to search them all. 3 copies of mining. You got to have mining. You got to have mining in this deck. The deck needs rotors. It needs cards to search your combo pieces. It's a very combo heavy deck, but the weird thing is it's only a combo heavy deck with 2 cards to start off with. So you need to get to those 2 cards, which is Picardi and Achichi. Once you get to those 2 cards, your combo is solid, your combo is good to go. If you have stuff to stop your opponent, it's even better. But the mining is there to get you to those cards. As well as this, I'm now playing 2 Desires. I'm going to try it out. The mindset is pretty much the same mindset as DDD. So you play the Desires to get to your combo pieces. You play 3 of everything in your deck that is detrimental and important. So you play your 3 Picard, your 3 Achichi, your 3 Dorian, and your 3 Budu. Those are the Ignises that are very important to your combos, which is why you're playing multiples of. Part of Desires is there to get you to those cards. As well as the islands, you're playing multiples of that. So now, if you can play Desires safely without having to worry of banishing multiple copies of at least all of your copies of your cards. You could probably try and get away with only playing 2 copies of some of the Ignises if you want to fit more cards in, but I'm just playing 3 copies of everything that I need, and the 2 Desires to dig into my deck to not only get to my combo pieces, but also to get to my cards that outboards. I really struggled at times at the regionals just because I felt like, okay, I got the combo, but he's now all set up and I have nothing to just go off. This is a very good second deck. I was going second pretty much every game, except for those games where I really thought they'd make me go first, so I decided to go first. And you can break boards, but if you've got opponent disruptions your opponent has, it's hard to break boards through disruptions. You could probably get away with it if you have the right hand and the right extenders, but without those right hands and correct extenders, it's really hard to break through boards through the disruptions. So you want to have cards that just bait out the disruptions, which we do play, but we're now playing Desires to get into those cards. So there's a long explanation as to why I'm playing Desires in the deck, but I felt like it was needed. 1 copy of I Love Fusion to search for your both Doyon and for your Doshin and your Picari, because Picari searches I cards. 2 copies of Idol Reborn and a Monster Reborn. I see a lot of builds playing 3 Idol Reborns. I can understand it, but I feel like 2 copies is just fine. You need space for other cards in your deck, so I'm just playing the 2 Idol Reborns. You search it when you need it, so there's that. 3 copies of Called by the Grave. You don't want to be hand trapped. As I said, Drawn Lockbow can hurt this deck, and that's going around at the moment. So you play Called by the Grave to stop those kind of hand traps. And probably the best card to outboards going second if you're on a budget is the copies of Dark Ruler No More. This card was really good at the regionals. I was really happy to be playing it. I knew it. It's just one of those cards that when you have in your hand going second, you're just in a very good spot. You can just sit there, let your opponent build up the board, and you're like, yeah, that's cool, go for it, yeah, it's fine. I got nothing to stop you. Come your turn, Dark Ruler No More. Normal Picard, just go off and just break that board. With a Light Dragon, your Quantum Dragon, and just Dark Ruler is just so good at doing that. I am tempted to play things like Regeki and Evenly Matched. I may have to speak to Go Second expert Donald, because from Madolches, and just like have him help me just like build the deck going second. Like, I'm just not used to go second decks. I'm used to go first decks. Combo decks that like to go first. Still usually the thing I play. But yeah, Dark Ruler No More. You gotta play it. Gotta play. If you can't afford Dark Ruler No More, because I know they are going up a bit. Things like Dark Hole can just be a good replacement to this. Like 2 copies of Dark Hole and Regeki. It just baits out that negation that your opponent has. Also things like Mind Control is also very good, so there's that. And to round up the deck, I am playing 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. This was like the replacement for Drawn Lockbird. As I said, I don't want to have the deck solely built to just face Spiral. I want to have it built to face everything, and I think Imperm's a good way to go about that, so that's why I'm playing the Infinite Impermanence. I'm also thinking of swapping it out for Evenly Matched, just because that's a stronger go second card, but I think Imperm just gives me that options to go first or second, because I can set it going first, or if I'm going second, I can just use it to bait out the negation. Moving on to the extra, we're playing the 1 copy of Dark Fluid. Obviously, it's your big negation boss, but it's also like your Utopia double. You make this, have it at like 10,600, 10,500 attack, and just swing in for game. 13,000 attack. Yeah, 10,500 because we're not playing the ritual. 1 copy of Trisbina. I opted to mainly Trisbina in the extra deck just because I wanted to have a inbuilt out to back row decks if I can make it, or if I can let it go off. Making it is not an issue. Like, if this goes off against the back row decks going first, you're in a very good spot. You can make this and set it off just through your standard combo. Instead of making the Dark Templar after you make the Wicked, or the Transcode after you make the Wicked, just make this, and then you got Ignist in the hand to summon it off the island, summon it to a zone, trigger it off, and go off from there. I've summoned it a few times. I think I've summoned it twice at the regionals, and it did come very well. 1 copy of Fire Phoenix at Ignister. I've put this in the extra deck now just because we're not playing the Code Talker build. And when you're not playing the microcodes for the Code Talker build, you can take out Code Talker. So I'm going to try out Fire Phoenix. At the regionals, there was a few other players playing at Ignister, and a lot of them were playing Fire Phoenix. I've asked them for the reasoning. They said it did go off a little bit, and it can come quite handy. But then it's then playing this with the Trisbina, or this and the Mech Knight Avamax. That's something I just need to try out and play test a lot more. Just because if you're playing Fire Phoenix, I feel like you might as well play the Avamax. Because once you go into the Fire Phoenix, you can then, again, after the Wicked, you can summon your next monster, go into a Lingering Bird, and make your Avamax. So, I'm just trying to figure out what to do. But this deck has so many options. This is why it's so good. So I love this deck so much. There's so many ways to play it, so many options to play. Tech choices as well. 2 Dark Templar, you gotta play Dark Templar at 2. You go through them very, very easily. 1 for your first combo and 1 for your second combo, and then you shuffle it back again with Dostin, and then you go for a 3rd one. Like, it's absolutely insane. 1 copy of transcode talker to round up the bank. Link freeze. You gotta play transcode. Transcode does not emphasize the code talker build. You play transcode in all the builds. It's code talker, the link 2, that emphasizes the code talker builds. Just so everyone understands. The link 2 is just playing 2 copies of Wicked. I asked again a lot of players who were playing at Ignis today, like, what's their view on 2 Wickeds? They say you don't need 2 Wickeds. You can get away with just the 1 because you shuffle back with your Doshin. The Wicked. So I may take Wicked out for another link 2. It's just finding out that other link 2 to put in its place. Maybe Ivy Masquerena. Again, I'm not sure. There's a lot of playtesting to get going with. And then 2 copies of Lingeribo. I took out the Disciple because I got a second Lingeribo. So Lingeribo is in here at 2. No, you don't need 2. I was doing perfectly fine with just the 1 Lingeribo and the 1 Disciple. Not an issue, but I felt like I wasn't using Disciple's effects, so it was just literally just being there as a link 1 option. So I just took out for the second Lingeribo after I got it. One that I'm actually thinking of trying out in the extra deck is a copy of Link Spider. That is a tech choice that I'm thinking of playing, because when you do get Nibiru, you can then just turn that token into a Link Spider and try and continue your play. So there's that food for thought for all you Ignister players out there. Link Spider is something I'm thinking of doing. 1 copy of the Earth Golem for your fusion. 2 copies of Light Dragon. You do play 2 because you do get through 2. 1 for your first combo and 1 for your second. So 2 Light Dragon is very important. 1 copy of Wind Pegasus and 1 copy of Quantum. I see a lot of people playing 2 Wind Pegasus, and I'll be honest, I never needed the second. I don't see why you would need the second. You go to Quantum first, just because it gives you the protection and outs the boards, and then you got the Wind Pegasus for your second synchro play to either just get that synchro play off to get your resolve your voodoo effect to revive to continue, and the back row hate as well. So you don't need a second Wind Pegasus, but you might as well get them because they are cheap. Because it's a good super. But yes, guys, that's it for the profile and explanations along the way. Again, sorry this is a long video. I had to explain my card choices and everything. So hope you all enjoyed it. Leave your comments down below what you think of this build, and also leave your comments down below what build are you playing. I like to see other people's Ignister builds, because as I said, there's a lot of different builds that you can play, and I'd love to see people's builds and techs and choices. And we've also just let me know how well it's doing. Like, don't just send me a build. No offense, don't just send me a build and then like I ask you how well is it doing. It's like, oh, it was doing badly. Well, then it's not a very good build to show me. I want to improve mine. I want to see success that other people are having with theirs. No offense. So, as always, guys, like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, as always, happy dueling.